Welcome back everyone to another LEGO Star Wars video. And today we have some more stuff involving 2026 LEGO Star Wars leaks. We have some updates for the January wave, as well as finding out there will be some March 1st sets, and then also some May sets as well, mostly tying into the Mandalorian Grogu movie coming out next year. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it with the first update, and the only update for January 2026 so far. Probably more to come involving this same thing, and that's price increases. So as of now, it came out that 75440, the midi scale AT-AT, 525 pieces. Originally, a couple weeks ago, was planned to be, or leaked to be $60. Now apparently it will be $65. So not the end of the world. Of course, I hate saying that about a price increase, but I mean, it's just kind of par for the course these days, and definitely the least of our problems when it comes to prices, based off some other stuff I'm going to get into later in the video. But that set is getting a $5 increase, and like I said, probably more to come for 2026 sets. So let's move on to March LEGO Star Wars leaks right here. We have two, and there's going to be more to come apparently. I was told a couple more at least, but we do know two for now, and one being 75421, Darth Vader's TIE Advanced, $70, March 1st, 2026, 473 pieces and 7+. So again, on paper doesn't sound too bad. Of course, it seems like maybe it's $5 or $10 overpriced, but again, not as bad as the set that I'll get into next. No minifigure count yet. I would assume, of course, Darth Vader, maybe one or two other, I would assume at least 3 figs, right? It's going to be a little bit tough to kind of gauge what figures, because again, we're getting so many from the Death Star. There's, I don't know, I can't really predict yet. Are they going to just be a bunch of like rinse and repeats? Is it going to be just a TIE fighter pilot, Darth Vader, and like a gonk droid? Are they going to throw us a kind of curveball in there, like they did with, Ray Sloan and the TIE Bomber? Hopefully so. But this one will hopefully be in scale with the TIE Bomber or the Interceptor. That's one thing that I definitely hate. I'm not a fan of the downsize, as you guys know, but even when they do end up downsizing these TIEs, they come out the TIE Fighter in 2021, Bomber in 23, Interceptor in 24, the Interceptor ended up being way out of whack when it came to like scale. Like it doesn't look necessarily proper next to the Bomber. And so that's already kind of like broken up, which sucks, because again, if I were to even kind of collect all of them, which I was planning on it would have been nice if all of them were next to each other. So it'd be interesting to see what scale this fits into. More of that 2023 Interceptor. I said 2024. It's 2023 or the 2023 Bomber. But that is all we know on that one so far. Moving on to the next thing. Here's the big talker of the video right here. We have 75423, Luke's Red 5 X-Wing. Okay, so again, we hear that another X-Wing, super boring, but this is what they're actually going to do this time, right? They're not going to make it cheaper. They're not going to make it a better deal. They're not going to give us anything, interesting, at least from what we know yet. What they're going to do for us is charge $50 more than they probably should. And they're going to charge $100, apparently, for a 584-piece, Luke's X-Wing, March 1st, 2026. So here's where we're at. It's got more pieces than the 2021 version, at least, all right? So again, for all the price per piece people, that sounds great, right? It's got about 200 less pieces than the 2018 one, and as we all know, they objectively use smaller pieces now compared to back then, so that means even more, even just beyond 200 less pieces, and they're charging $100. So this is even one of those things where, it's not like it's an 800 piece count, you know what I mean? Because again, thinking about just hearing the name and that price point, especially in today's day and age, it feels off to begin with, but at least if it was like 800 pieces, it could either A, mean maybe a little bit bigger of an X-Wing, or it could mean, a 600-piece X-Wing with maybe a 200-piece side build at least, like maybe a Dagobah set even, maybe a little Yoda's hut on the side. I mean, technically they could even do that still. Again, we don't know yet. According to this, it's just a Red 5 X-Wing. I'm just kind of, saying what maybe it could be, speaking a little, just discussion out there. It could be that also. I mean, this could be a 300-piece X-Wing, and then, a 300-piece side build for all we know. But at this point, no minifigure list yet. I would assume just the basics, of course, Luke, R2, probably that other, the other X-Wing pilot that's with him. He was in the 2012 X-Wing, and then maybe again, hopefully one kind of super unique, interesting character like the General Dodonna from the 2021 version. But that is that right there. And I'll say this much: first off, we get too many X-Wings. All right, we do, especially in the new updated downscale. It's ridiculous, man. We're getting, this is going to be 3 within 5 years of, you know, Luke's X-Wing. You know, technically the one from the TIE Fighter mash, or the Rebuild the Galaxy mashup, it's a regular color X-Wing. It's not Luke's, but it's a regular color X-Wing. You know what I'm saying? I think we took for granted, all right, because I remember the era in the late 2010s where, you know, of course, we were getting all the sequel X-Wings. We got a Luke's X-Wing, you know, mixed in there. And, you know, we were hating how many X-Wings we were getting then. But retrospectively, at least those were different colors, and at least they were big. So I really do think we took for granted that 2015 up until, what was that? I think that the 2020, right, for that last X-Wing, that 5-year period of those X-Wings we took for serious granted because those look great, excellent together, and at least they're unique. This is another reason why I wish in Rebuild the Galaxy, in that 2-pack, I wish we would have gotten like a inverted color swap of those to make it even more, you know, kind of creative, right? They should have given us a black and gray X-Wing. They should have given us a white and dark red TIE Fighter. They should have given us a orange TIE Fighter pilot. They should have given us a black X-Wing pilot. So again, another reason why I wish that 2-pack was different colors. So we would not have literally 3 of the same color X-Wing within, you know, such a short period of time. But that's everything on the X-Wing. Leave your thoughts down below. On paper, that sounds absolutely absurd. Let's move on to May 1st sets right here. I was also told it could be a little bit earlier than May. It could line up with the movie a little bit better. Could be sometime in late April. But I'm not confirming that. For all I know, it is just still May 1st. So we have a couple sets here. 2 of which being supposedly bust, okay? Supposedly they're going to bring, you know, bust into LEGO Star Wars. Again, they used to do them for some kind of Comic-Con stuff, you know, back in the day with the Vader and the Sith Trooper, but they're actually going to bring it into a proper line here, 18 plus, maybe replacing helmets. Again, that's just my speculation. You would assume so. Having both those next to each other on the shelf would be a little weird in my opinion, a little redundant. Or maybe they're going to start doing like a split where, you know, bust one year, helmets the next, bust the next. But even then, I think that's going to be a little weird. But the 2 supposedly are 7543 at the Yoda bust for 50, and then 75439 Darth Vader bust for 60. So not much more to really say about those. You know, you would assume no minifigure in them. You know, again, Yoda in bust form probably going to look weird. They don't do, you know, his species all that well in, you know, buildable versions, you know, between Grogu and Yoda. Vader, I would assume, would look a little bit better. Like, the 2019 Vader bust did not necessarily look bad, but it was definitely a little bit small, like just small enough where I think the designer really couldn't fully flesh it out right. If this is just a little bit bigger, I mean, the retail's technically only 20 more than that other one. So again, I mean, we're accounting for 6 other, or, you know, almost 7 years at this point. Pieces are smaller. Again, you know, just, you know, them hiking up these prices. There's a chance it's the same size, if not smaller, than that 2019 one, which, again, I would assume they have better pieces nowadays. You know, hopefully the designer can come up with something nice, but I'm not looking too forward to those. Definitely not, you know, anything to really be talking too crazy about. You know what I mean? But leave your thoughts down below on those. And then the last thing I want to talk about today, we have 4 more sets for, you know, the late April or May 1st drop. Supposedly going to tie into Mandalorian Grogu. We have 75444, $45, 75445, 75, 75446, 130, and 75447 for 150. So we don't know what we don't know what those are yet. We have no even like kind of murmurings or anything. Again, you know, Mandalorian Grogu supposedly. My 4 predictions I'll take is I do think a Razor Crest and AT-AT will be the 2 higher priced ones, you know, whatever route they go. The only thing I'll say about that, though, it'd be very weird having 2 AT-ATs on the shelf at the same time. But I guess it's not necessarily, because, I mean, we have some Falcons on at the same time. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they could do double AT-AT. But just on paper, you would assume AT-AT and Razor Crest would take those 2 big you know, spots on the list. And then 45 and 75, I'm trying to think. I mean, maybe a Y-Wing or something like that. Maybe they can finally tie in a Y-Wing since we haven't gotten one in, you know, about 5 years, and especially make it more, I guess it would be maybe a little bit different of a color scheme. But I'm going to just make that guess. I'm going to say Y-Wing, and then for $45, let's hope it's not a $45 battle pack. I'll tell you that much. I don't know. I think Zero the Hutt has to be in one of these. and I'm going to assume he would not be in the bigger set. So I'm going to guess something to do with 0 for either the 45 or 75. But again, those are just my predictions. And at this point, I could go on all day about predictions, and some could be right, some could be wrong. But I'll leave you guys with that. So definitely leave your predictions down below on those sets. Leave your thoughts on the bust. Leave your thoughts on those, those March 1st sets, the $100 X-Wing. And that is all for today's video. Thank you guys all so much for the support over the past couple weeks, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye, guys, and stay safe.